Do you ever feel like people don't believe you when you have experiences with spirits or supernatural things? Well, being a psychic medium and an energy healer, I have that all the time with people that I just meet. So, this conversation today on Spirit Stories is all about that. I'm speaking with a self proclaimed skeptic, Rod, for the second part of this episode. And we're going to be discussing some questions that he has me trying to show him and prove to him how these abilities work, and also just having a really good conversation between two people with good rapport who maybe have very different opinions and experiences, but can come together in the end about maybe the reality or not reality of everything. So stay tuned, and I hope you get something out of this one because it certainly put me in a position of not feeling defensive, but really standing in my power and truth of knowing that this stuff does exist. Not everybody's going to believe it. So, thanks for sharing those stories about the dreams.
Sure.
Do you want to ask me more questions about being being skeptical of this? And we've talked a little bit about it already.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. I think my first question, which is might be obvious to people who think like I do, is like I'll preface it by saying, I believe you believe what you talk about. Um, how how can I'm open-minded enough to be curious, and instead of just shutting down and saying that's all BS, don't talk to me. Like, okay, prove it to me. Like, just saying I'm seeing a guy with gray hair, well, based on my own age and someone who's a supervisor, it's easy to make a pretty accurate or likely to be accurate supposition about this person has gray hair.
Hmm.
Um, how can you how can you prove to me that what you do or experience is real?
Yeah, so
In 30 seconds, go.
no, I don't have a 30-second answer, but like I said before, it is really hard to prove this to people who don't believe. Even, I'll just give you an example. I did a Reiki from my dad, who doesn't, I don't want to say he doesn't believe, but he's a scientist too, a chemist, and he is now into to faith, but he still doesn't believe in what I do necessarily. So I did Reiki for him, and I came back and left him an audio message, and I said, I saw this. Here's where I see you're having issues. Here's what's going on with these things. And he said afterwards, well, you seem to hit the nail on the head with all of the issues that I've been having. And somebody could say, well, that's your dad. You should know. Well, my dad lives in Michigan. I'm in Colorado. We don't talk that often. And so some of those things that I saw were very specific to what he's dealing with right now. And I didn't know about them. But to prove to you, I thought maybe I would try. We'll see, because I know I tried to clear some dark energy off you in the past. But I'm going to do a little bit of an energy clearing on you, and we'll see if I can't find anything. Does that sound okay?
Right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
got my little bunny.
What is that? Is that like
Yeah,
is that like the rock substitute?
no. So,
Okay.
um, so actually, this is great. This is my process. So when I do energy clearings on people, I just use a stuffed animal, and somehow, don't ask me how it works. This is your energy. It becomes your energy, and I'm able to clear stuff off of you through the bunny. So let's just see what
Okay.
happens. So, what I mean, this whole time, what I've been seeing is you have something, your neck, in like your upper shoulder. Yep, like your upper shoulder, like in between your shoulder blades, but up. I don't know if you can feel that, but it looks like it's tension to me.
Um, maybe. I mean, I know my posture isn't always great.
Okay, but you're not having any specific pain there.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say something, and because you don't have as much access to some of this stuff is some of my clients. We're just going to see what can happen here.
Mhm.
But I'm getting that it's something from age 33 and it's a frustration. And so this is like an old emotion that's stuck here. But you're not having any pain. So you may not actually feel like I'm moving anything right now. But I'm seeing some sort of dock and a boat. And maybe, yeah, I don't know. Is this ringing any bells for you? Because this is very abstract, I know.
So you said a dock and a boat, not like a doctor on a boat, right?
Nope, a dock
Okay.
and
Okay.
like a speedboat, and it looks like you may be getting on there holding hands with a lady. I hope or assume that it's your wife. But I don't know if at age 33 that is. And then I see you or somebody with you shouting at somebody else, like off of the boat. I don't know if this brings any memories to you at all.
The only, let's see, 33, so I'm 58. Um, so that would have been 24, 25 years ago. The only thing that into mind regarding shouting on a boat, like I do not spend a lot of time on boats. I have a phobia about deep water because I watched Jaws when I was too young. I didn't learn to swim till I was 10, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway, a funny story that pops in my mind is that it, I don't know if I was 33, I don't know how long ago it was, but um, so my wife, Rebecca, her cousins own a racing yacht in the San Francisco area. And um, we went out for an evening cruise with them, and her cousin's father was at the wheel. Um, and everything was going fine. It was a beautiful evening, and we like another boat was approaching us, and based on like maritime rules, like you pass on one side, and it was like the red and the green light. Um, and the boat was approaching us too fast, cutting across where we were going. I don't know the nautical terms. And her uncle, who he could be a very loud guy. He started yelling at them and cursing at them, like, I have the right of way, get out of the way, effing idiot, blah, blah, blah. And like, it was funny and a little bit scary at the time. Um, but that memory stuck in my head. But that's like for someone that the only reason I recall that is because you mentioned yelling and a boat. Um,
So, but how did that make you feel?
at the time,
Mm-hmm.
um, a little bit nervous. Like I could see this boat was approaching us, kind of look head on, and I'm just along for the ride. Um, and at the time, it was like a little bit of mild panic, but very small. Like I don't want to overstate this. It was like more like, hey, aren't those guys getting kind of close to us? And are are we supposed to be like in front of them or to the left or the right? Um, and there was no incident, there was no accident or anything like that, but um, it was a little bit of, hey, there's this oncoming thing. We can avoid this, right? It was funny, and looking back, it's become a funny story of her uncle. Hey, get out of the way! Beep, bleep, bleep, bleep.
So I feel that this is actually stuck. It is a stuck emotion in your back, though, or your top shoulder, which is weird because it's such a small thing. Like at the time, it was a little bit of panic. But What if you just go back for a second to that memory and tell yourself before it happens or in the moment, everything's going to be fine, we're all okay, and kind of rewrite that panic or see it happen a different way?
Um, what do you mean? Like imagine it in my mind and then tell myself at the time?
Imagine yourself back in that moment and maybe just don't even see it not even happening or see it happening a different way. Just do that for a second. Just humor me.
I am.
Okay.
Okay.
So that, and, but it's hard because you're not actually feeling pain in that spot. Usually, when I do this for somebody, it's they have pain in the spot and there's like an emotion attached to it. However, I do see that that is moving that emotion. But again, this is just me telling you. You're not seeing, you're not feeling it, you're not sensing it. So it's
Yeah.
really challenging to, describe this to you. But it is interesting that that boat thing came up and the shouting, because that's not a typical memory people have,
Mm-mm.
being on a boat and the shouting around that age. Well, my demonstration did not work because you didn't feel anything, but we did get to one really interesting memory, I would say.
Okay.
This is why I always rely on testimonials because people will tell you, and you've heard a lot of people's testimonials about my work
Yep.
where I'm even like, oh, really? That you feel that way now, or that happened, or oh my gosh, like just even the other day, one of my clients said, you don't understand how big of a difference you made in our lives by clearing our home and helping my son and my husband and me so many times. I'm so grateful for you. And it just makes me remember that I'm not full of crap because
Hmm.
sometimes it is hard to feel like you're not making it up when you do stuff like I do. So I don't think I answered your question. And I didn't know if I'd
No,
be able to.
I didn't know if you'd be able to either. I think the important thing is like what I'm getting out of this part of the conversation is that it's reaffirming something I already knew about you is that you're very you're tuned into people's emotions. It's important for you to be in a position where you're helping people. You're a helper supporter type. Um, and when because we don't I have some of those attributes also, and we're it's like we don't have like a product like I made this. You can point to that thing and say, I did X and this was the result, and I feel good about this. But when other people who when we're just doing our job well and putting a lot of effort into it, and they respond back with affirmation that we did, in fact, really help them, and someone else probably couldn't have done as good a job. Um, I think that's the important thing. Like, there are so many people out there that believe in what you do and how you do it, and many of them have given you testimonials because they believe strongly. Most people don't write testimonials like you buy a thing on Amazon. This is the best stapler, 5 stars. No one does that. Maybe like, a tiny fraction of everyone that buys a stapler. Um, so people must feel strongly if they're writing you reviews. Um, and you're helping people and you believe in what you're doing. See, I'm doing it right now. I'm like affirming you.
Yeah.
Um, so if you believe in what you're doing and the people that you're helping are leading better lives and they're happier and they're less bogged down with their emotional crap, you're doing something important for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think teaching them to be able to do it themselves is my biggest
Hmm.
joy because as amazing it is to help people through Reiki or house clearings, it's more amazing to me to give somebody the tools to have their own inner guidance system. And that's to me, the purpose, peace, and power that I always say. It's we all have it within ourselves.
The seed's already inside you.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Well, Rod, I always love chatting with you about this stuff, even though you're
Me
always
too.
trying to not disprove me because it's pretty hard to disprove non-data things. But I did want to mention, and I should have looked this up before, there is that military project where they had those psychics for years. And there are several pieces that
Oh,
they can't,
MK Ultra.
is that what it was called?
They used the military and CIA used mind-altering drugs to
No,
try and
no, 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 no.
induce mental powers. Okay.
No, no, it wasn't mind altering drugs. They worked with all these psychics and they did all the psychic training with them to do remote viewing and some
Mm,
other stuff. And there's a lot of examples from that they can't say how the heck these psychics were able to do it. But there's also been instances in my own life that things have not come true or things I've gotten a message for somebody and it hasn't been correct or has been confusing. And so it's really hard to say 100% of the time this is correct, but a lot of the time it can be. I don't know. So that's what's so hard about this stuff. And I've had to do a lot of healing through my own fears of people not believing me
mhm.
to be able to even have a business like this. So it's amazing that I'm even talking to you about this because I don't think I could have probably 2 years ago.
Was it just like a courage thing and belief in yourself like that? Okay.
Yeah, and letting go of a lot of stuff, which I know you don't believe in, but a lot of past life stuff that I saw some big harm, and also current life because my family on my mom's side is very Catholic, and we grew up without religion. So I didn't find anything really in my own life until my early 20s, and then I didn't find this about myself until my early 30s. And even then, I was like not spiritual or religious or anything. So even being able to talk to people about religion or science or any of this stuff was challenging for me. I kind of hid it from the world that I had these abilities.
Hmm. Yeah, it's one thing to say you're, Episcopalian. It's another thing to say you're psychic. You get a
Yeah.
different reaction from people,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But the benefit of it, I guess, is that the people who want to work with me do.
Mhm.
And they seek me out and they know that they want to explore this part of themselves. But I have to
Yeah.
always remember I'm not trying to convince people like you, but I love
No,
having the
and
conversation with you.
so do I. And I think one of the things that is like most speaks to your honesty is when you say things like, I don't know how it works, or this doesn't always work, or I don't know why this happened. You're not trying to sell yourself or what you do. Um, and it's, it's not exact.
It is not. It is not exact. You're right.
Sometimes
Well,
it's weird.
yeah, exactly. Well, Ron, thank you so much for being on here with me today. I appreciate the conversation and for you having an open-minded, skeptical chat and talking about some dreams you had.
My pleasure. This was fun. Thanks, Emma.
All right, thank you, Rod. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
This concludes the second part of this conversation with Rod. I hope that you learned something today. And if nothing else, learned that it's okay to have conversations with people who are on very opposing sides of the table. So if you still feel like you have psychic abilities after listening to this, please find my free blind reading meditation to tune into your own abilities. It's a fun, easy way of doing it, and it's very unbiased, so you can't mess it up. Have a great rest of your day, and remember, everything you need to flower is already inside you. Your inner guidance system, your love for yourself, and you know your own path. So don't let anybody sway you. Don't let anybody tell you that they don't believe you, because you know your own heart and you know your own way forward.